Hello everyone, and welcome to the Ashes of Creation Introductory Series, where we will be continuing our breakdown of each individual archetype and their potential combinations in Ashes of Creation. We hope that everyone celebrated a safe and happy New Year. Next, let's get a better understanding of the Ranger archetype. As you can see listed on the right of your screen, we have a good amount of information about the Rangers class and what sort of playstyle they are going to lead. We're going to go through a couple of these abilities in subsequent images in just a few moments, but I would like to highlight a couple things here very quickly. The snare ability and the fleeting shot ability. Some of these other ones we will talk about in time. But as you can see, the Ranger is going to have a bunch of abilities that are going to do their best to keep players off of them. Rangers, as we will talk about in a little bit, use ranged weapons. Common sense. Now, the Ranger is going to have a lot of abilities, it seems, that are focused not purely around DPS and damage, but a little bit of zone control, and as well as distance control between themselves and their opponents. Death from Afar appears to be the Ranger's playstyle. They are a master of the bow and ranged combat. And the Ranger is more than happy to let others get their hands dirty, while they stay in the backs and rain down fire. At this point, much has been revealed about the Ranger's moveset, which is displayed on the screen here for your viewing pleasure. Feel free to pause the video at any time to get an idea. We're just going to talk about a few of these moves in a little bit more detail. First one that we mentioned before is the fleeting shot. Fleeting shot is a retreating shot that rolls the Ranger backwards, does a little bit of damage, but as you can see, as it upgrades, it increases the max range of the fleeting shot, so it could be used earlier as you see someone coming towards you. They have a jump ability, a dash with a cooldown, and that cooldown will then subsequently decrease as ranks increase. A knockback shot that knocks a target back X amount of distance, and then as you progress through the ranks, the damage of that knockback shot is increased. Again, as we see here, a lot of zoning mechanics, a lot of mobility with the Ranger class. One interesting move that I would like to highlight as well is the Sniper's Eye maneuver. It summons a zone around the Ranger, and then while within the zone, you deal 200% damage for all attacks. This is important. So this is a very good zoning mechanic, and also what it does is it gives Rangers a little bit of a territorial feel to them. Not simply a hunter from World of Warcraft that's kiting people around, can move wherever they please. It's important for, if you're using something like Sniper's Eye, to have good control of your surroundings, stay within that Sniper's Eye range, knock enemies out of such range, so that way you can maximize your damage. I really like the style that they're doing with the Ranger here. It appears to be a bit of a combination of a World of Warcraft type hunter and something a little bit more territorial. The final classes for the Ranger archetype are listed here on your screen. A primary Ranger and a secondary Bard becomes a bow singer, which sounds like a very fun, interesting support type class. A primary Ranger and a secondary Summoner gives you what's called a Falconer. I hope I get to summon a Falcon. The Hawkeye, Ranger primary, Ranger secondary, likely looking at very long distance, long range attacks in this scenario. A Scion is a Ranger primary and a Mage secondary. Scout, a Ranger primary and a Rogue secondary. A Sentinel, a Ranger primary and a Tank secondary. It's going to be very interesting to see where that class goes. A Soulbow, a Ranger primary and a Cleric secondary, likely some sort of Ranger with healing and support potential. And a Strider, a Ranger primary and a Fighter secondary. Now, we'd be remiss if we didn't get a little bit of information about ranged weapons. So here's what we know about ranged weapons generally thus far. A character can equip up to two hand weapons and also wear a ranged weapon on their back. Characters performing ranged abilities will switch in the ranged weapon and they can then switch back to the melee weapon and shield or two-handed melee weapon. The weapon held in your main hand slot always determines the active weapon ability. This is important. It's going to be, we have no information about how much we're going to be able to switch back and forth, what kind of distance, how long that cooldown is going to be at this time. But it's also important to note that Rangers are going to have a minimum distance requirement where they're eligible to use their ranged weapons. So if someone gets too close, you're going to be unable to use your ranged abilities, which is why the Ranger likely has so many knockbacks, so many traps, so many movement-based abilities. On your screen is a list of the ranged weapons that can be utilized by the Ranger class, and likely other classes as well. This list ranges from bows to crossbows to certain orbs, likely more for spellcasters, spell books, wands of light, and wands, not sure what the difference is there, and something called a potion launcher, which I am very excited to see where that takes us. We hope that you have enjoyed this brief introduction to the Ranger archetype in AOC. For more information, please visit the AOC wiki page, linked below, and check out our future videos. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe below. We encourage discussion. Check us out on our other social media and streaming platforms listed below as well. Thank you as always for watching.